Hello, my name is Jason Boswell from Microfocus. Today we're going to be talking about using the file analysis suite to redact sensitive data. So we're going to use a few of the new features within inside the product together to deliver this. So this scenario is that business departments need to retain corporate information in their existing repositories, in the file systems or other sources, but they want to reduce the risk of anybody sharing sensitive data by masking the sensitive content. So we all know data protection is a key feature and it's a key use case across many organizations with the increasing regulations. So now we're going to talk about once we've found that sensitive data, is doing a protection activity on those perhaps unsecure location, minimizing that risk associated with data privacy. Okay, so without any ado, let's get to it. So we're going to switch now to the file analysis suite product, and I'm going to introduce you to what we're going to do today. So one of the new features we had with inside the file analysis suite was the ability to take the grammars which identify the sensitive data. And if we just have a look at perhaps the financial and look at credit cards, for example, here we can see in one of the new features is we can mask that sensitive content with a number of different options. So for credit cards in my system here, I've configured it just to mask the content and just keep a certain number of characters. Okay, so we have that as a configurable item inside the standard product. We also have the ability to protect data in different ways, and one of the methods is through the API. So I'm going to use the API with custom workbook activities. So here I've created something called Redact documents. So this is a feature inside the API, and Redact documents, all I've configured, I've given it an icon and a name, and that's basically all that we've done there. Okay, so we've got a protection function called Redact documents, and we know we have that feature associated with the grammar. Okay, so now how does that data look? So if we look at, we're going to switch now to one of our workspaces and see how that feature would work. So inside my workspaces now, I have the ability to put an icon to take action on the data. So I could delete the data, move it. So I've got different types of protection activities that I could put on there. I've chosen to disable a number of those and just leave this new option called Redact Documents that I'm going to do on this file. So if we have a look at what would actually happen if we do that, we have to look inside the content. Let's look at, we've got one item in here. So let's click on this item. Here we've got a document, which is it's a Word document, and it's called bank cards. And you can see at the top there, there's a bank card at the top there, and it's had an and with inside the content here, and it's had the content redacted from there. I can see it's got credit card details inside it from the entities here and the high risk score. Notice here that what the system has done, what File Analysis Suite has done, is given me a HTML rendition of this file. So this is a Word document, but it's giving me a HTML rendition. And this is what the inbuilt technology inside the product does. So it takes any format and produces a HTML rendition of that document. So here we've got Word, but it covers a whole bunch of other different formats. So you could still produce that HTML rendition. And when we produce that rendition, we produced it with this sensitive data taken away. So our task, and if we look at where the file exists now, so here's my file sitting, and I've got it stored in a temporary area here just so I can show you, but the file would exist inside a file system. And what I want to do is produce a copy of that, a rendition of that document, and we're going to do it in a HTML format that's got that sensitive data taken away using that function that we've got there. And then we can choose to either move that original source document to a new location, or we could just delete it altogether, depending on what the business needs to do. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to run the function to take that document, and we're going to produce another document next to it, which is that same document with the sensitive data taken away. We do that using an API function. I'll just quickly show you the API function. So here's the API function. So I'm looking now at the Swagger interface, which everybody can do once they've got access to the system. Inside the Swagger interface, it shows me all of the API functions that I can call. So you can see we've got connect, manage functions. And the one I'm particularly going to use is this preview function, which uses the idle view server to convert it to HTML. And so if I do that, I can convert it to HTML and in the response. And one of the options that I can place on that is to mask the data. So I've got mask data equals true. And I've just run this as an example. I'm using that with that particular document. I give it the authorization token. And this runs an API call to produce this content. So let's see how that would look in a real scenario. Okay. So first, so let's go back to my content here, and I'll go back to my workbooks. I've got that document, and we're going to produce a HTML rendition with the sensitive data removed in here. Okay, so let's kick this one off. So when we do use this feature here, which is the custom workbook activity, what I'm able to do is kick this thing off and say, now I'm going to redact the files. What this has done is produce that workbook into the pending state. Now I can use my API function using the Swagger interface to go find the original documents and then replace it in the source location with that. So here I've got some code to do that. So this code here, I'm using Windows PowerShell here, and I'm going to authenticate against the system here, and once I've authenticated, get a list of the actions that I need to do, and then the actual call that we're going to make is this one here, and this is a key piece. So this is the key that does most of the work, which is to with the document that I'm going to retrieve from that queue, I'm going to put mass data on and place it in the destination area. Okay, so let's kick the process off. Normally, I'm running this as a script, but what you would normally do is you'd have this run as a service, so it would be running on a scheduled basis to do this activity. So it's told me that it's found one document to be processed. This was the document. It was document ID 919, and it's set the process now to be completed. So let's look at the output. If we look inside here, we should see that my process is now completed. Yep, my Redact document is now completed. And if we look at the file, we've got our original document now. And just now, immediately, we've just got bank cards with a sensitive data return. So this is the HTML rendition of the document. You can see it's got the formatting in there, and the sensitive data, the credit cards, have been removed from this document. Okay, so if we just go back to our use case, this shows you how you can use a number of different features together. I've used custom workbook activities. I've used the masking feature of the product. And we've used the API together to execute the function, and we've redacted the document, produced a redacted version with that sensitive data removed. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.